Good evening, social media. Thank you again for tuning in on to the JADASA Live discussion show. I am so excited to talk about this discussion that has been really on my heart. But summer is around the corner, and for those of you who knows the lyrics to Nelly's song, it is hot in here. So I just thought I would throw that in there. But again, thank you for coming out, tuning in on the broadcast. I know you may not be here now, but some of you guys that may watch it later, it's so much going on and it's nice out and it's sunny out. I do understand. But I still feel that there is a need to have these broadcasts to share to help someone in their journey, because everybody is on a journey. And again, I want to thank you again for coming on or listening in, however you may come in. Again, I'm Cynthia R. Bennett. I am the CEO and the founder of JADASA. So before we get started, I do want to share that I think we have about maybe 3-4 slots left for the developer workshop. We have about 4 slots left. I just actually got someone that registered this morning. And so if you have a young lady, teen or girl, we lowered the age from 9 to 19, because we really want to make sure everybody who want to be a part of, who can be a part of this pilot. This summer is a pilot program. It is for a week. We're already going to get some things done. We're going to teach about the basics of entrepreneurship, and then we're going to talk about mobile app development. And at the end, by Friday, they should be able to upload their app into the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store. So we're going to get a lot done during that week. Also, we are going to talk about healthy versus unhealthy issues, relationships. We're going to talk about relationships, what is healthy, what is not healthy. We're going to talk about self-esteem, how to boost our self-esteem, how to encourage one another, how to encourage ourselves, and just things that we would want our girls to know so that they get caught up into some of the things that we have had to go through. So it is a girls enrichment program. This is a pilot program, and it is for a week. This is just for a week. Now, after this week, once they finish all of their the sessions successfully, which is all 5 days, they will get a certificate of completion, and also they will get a $50 gift certificate to go towards their purchase if they want to purchase an electronic device or whatever you may have. So that pilot program is for that, and we are actually going to have snacks and drinks every day. We have other churches who actually called today. They are going to be providing the food for every day. And so this is just a pilot program, and we were going to be asking the girls as well as their parents for feedback, because we are going to be going into the fall. The fall, it will be 8 Saturdays. And then that's the program. Another program for the spring will be, again, 8 Saturdays. And then next summer, it's going to be for 4 weeks, like 9 to 2 or something like that. And so this is a program that is to help for the community, is to help our young girls to understand healthy relationships, just to talk about things, but also to help them give them information about basic entrepreneurship and mobile app development. We need our girls to understand technology so they can go into those fields as well, because we know, and me being in technology for so many years, that is a male-dominated, let me go back. That used to be a male-dominated field. Well, we are going to change that, because we are going to teach our girls how to create apps. They can go on their own and be an entrepreneur and do it on their own, or they can go into someone else's company. So that is something we have, and it is starting next Monday, June the 14th, through that Friday, June the 18th. Again, this is a pilot program. I believe we only have 4 slots left. I'm excited about it. And I'm just looking for everybody. If you have a teenager or a girl from age 9 to 19, you want them to learn something, get you out the house every day for 3 hours or whatever. and bring them on down at your 1433 Stein Road. That is at the St. Peter's UCC Resource Building, which is across the street from the Dalewood Rec Center. JADASA is now housed in there. We are going to be social distancing. We're going to be dealing with everything going by the CDC guidelines. They have to wear their mask and everything. And if they don't have masks, we have all that for them. So we want to make sure that we utilize the program to the fullest extent so that the girls can get the benefit, reap the benefit, and they can learn something or at least build on what they already know. So again, go to our website, jadasa.org, JADASA.org. If you want to register your girl, jadasa.org. And so we will see you, and then I will be reaching out to the parents Thursday about the time to come, time to pick them up, what we'll be doing, so you will know. And of course, you have to sign that you are releasing your gems to me for those certain hours, and then you will have them to be picked up as well. So we're going to make sure that whoever drop them off is this person that needs to pick them up. We are covering all bases. Okay, so we're just not going to just send them out the door and you get home the best way you can. No, we're not going to do that. We are going to make sure those are your gems, your prize gems, just like they're mine. And we're going to treat them as such. So I just want to make sure, if you have any girls, again, between 9 and 19, to come out and be a part of this developer program. You won't want to miss this. I think they're going to love it. Even if they want to do it in the fall, they can. So I want to talk about something today, a discussion, and y'all chime in. I'm going to try to look at the comments. If you put in comments, there's everybody know I deal with women and children abuse and stuff, neglect and all that of that nature. But I've been watching something lately. There has been, around the domestic violence deaths that has been, happening and stuff. And one thing I noticed about, when this stuff happened, that this particular demographic is left behind. I mean, it's like nobody thinks about them. And what made me think about it is because Father's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up. And the fathers, I'm going to do the shout out for the fathers today. Okay. The fathers, the grandfathers, the godfathers, the stepfathers, the fathers in the gap, whatever your title is to whoever it is, whatever role you're playing in that area, they don't get the rap that mothers get. Or the good rap. They don't get the recognition and acknowledgement. But also, let me tell you something else I noticed. Now, a lot of deaths have been occurring, like domestic violence deaths have been going on. And we know, of course, the mothers. We always talk about the mothers. Yes, it's painful, the family stuff. But you rarely hear about the daddies. And what made me think about that is some of my team staff was with me at a rally. And this particular rally, people were talking and stuff, but then they had the daddy to say something and the uncle said something. And they talked out of their pain, their hurt, rightfully so. Okay, what happened? Their niece, their daughter, their grandkids and stuff is gone. And I thought about that. I said, boy, you know what? We don't never think about the daddies because, we got daddy's girls. I was a daddy's girl. So I don't even know how my father would even dealt with it. I was a daddy's girl. Matter of fact, all of my sisters, I don't know how that worked, but in our family, all 6 of us was daddy girls. He made all of us feel special. He made all of us feel like we was his favorite one, that we was his sweetie pie. We was daddy's girls. We was daddy's girl. I thought about that. I said, they grieve too. They hurt. I heard it in these men's voices, the anger, the hurt, the resentment, just the pain of losing their daughter and their grandkids and their nieces and all that stuff. And so I just want us to talk about this demographic because I feel like they haven't been acknowledged. When these situations happen, you rarely hear about the father, the mother, or the mother of the, the victim, the mother, the grandmother, whatever. You never hear about the fathers. And I just, first of all, I want to acknowledge the fathers out there. If you had a daughter or a granddaughter or a niece or a goddaughter who dealt with or suffered at the hands of an abuser or died at the hands of an abuser, I want to acknowledge you to let you know we are there for you. We're praying for you. We wish you strength and comfort because I ain't gonna say nobody. I haven't noticed, nor have I myself acknowledged the fathers. They're humans just as well. They are human. They go through. They have issues just as well. We talk about, abuse. We're talking about, it's the death of a child, regardless whether you're the mama or the daddy or the grandparents or whatever. It's the death of a child. I thought about that even in my own my family, when my niece and her husband had to bury their only child. Not to abuse, but a 9-year-old died of cancer, their only child. And I realized, I said, wow, we was, of course, we was rallying around her, being there. We was being there for all of them, but I didn't see as much emotional support for him like we did her. Not that we were being biased towards her. I think in our minds, men, they strong, they can handle it. Yeah, they can. But guess what? They have to deal with something on another level. Not only they got to deal with the death of a child or a grandchild or whatever, they got to deal with that void as well. They're a parent. Then on top of that, they still have to somehow manage to uphold the family. They still have to show strength and courage. And sometimes they may not feel like they want to do that. Do we give them the option to grieve? Do we give them the space? I'll put that where I won't say option. Do we give them the space to grieve? Do we give them the space to be vulnerable in their grief, be vulnerable in their tears without them making them feel like, oh, you just need to man up? No. And I think, I'm going to touch on this a little bit. I have no claims for it. I will ask some people that I know that works in this field. I tend to believe that may be some of the reasons that we deal with mental issues, even in men, because they got to hold so much stuff in. They got to put up this face. They got to keep their face like flint. They have to always be there, and they got to always be, the ones with the answers. They got to always think things through. They don't have the option to fall apart, if you want to say it that way, like we do, some of us, when we go through trauma. We go through, we just, we go out there, and sometimes we just, we lose it. We say things, we cry, we scream. They don't get that option to do that. And I'm not saying we as women, I mean we as society. Society does not give them the option or the space to grieve like that. And I think we have done a disservice to them, because their fathers, they still had a hand in their parenting. Everybody didn't come from a broken home. Everybody didn't come where they live with just mama. Some of them had mama and daddy in the same house. And even if they didn't have mama and daddy in the same house, some of them had fathers that they still had relationships with, or they had, some kind of relationship with. And so they have to raise up another level. They have to buckle down their grief. They got to keep that stuff on lockdown because society has made them feel that you are less than a man, or you're a wimp, or you're a pieback, or you know, what all these other names, henpecked, or whatever, all these little names that make them feel weak or make them feel like they're not strong because they have a moment. Everybody has a moment. Everybody has a moment. We're all human. They are humans. They have feelings. They have emotions. So why don't we give them that space to grieve? Why don't we give them that space to why do they always got to go and talk to they men friends, but they can't talk to us? Because the first thing, we here this go the neck, then we looking at them like, you the only one that's hurting. They hurt too. And I'm just saying this because I just think this is something that we need to really think about and look at, because it's a lot of men, and not just men, but since we're talking about it, it's a lot of men who are dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of things in their life, but society has made it feel like that, okay, you're supposed to wear a whole world on your shoulders. You're supposed to put the brunt of the world on your shoulders. Well, maybe they don't feel like it today. Maybe they don't, because they got to deal with their jobs. They got to deal with keeping a home or a roof over your head, food on the table. They got to make sure everybody else is right. But then yet they're not right. They don't have a place to go to release. You're right, Miss Erica. We don't. Erica said it, right. We do need to consider them. We do need to consider them, and we really don't think about it. We don't. I did not, and I'm calling myself on the carpet, and that's why I really use this platform to talk about that. And because Father's Day coming up, guess what? Father's Day coming up. If they lost somebody due to domestic violence, their daughter, their granddaughter, how you think they feel when Father's Day come and that person not there? We don't think about that, do we? I'm the first to tell you, I never thought about that until I was at this particular rally and I listened to the father and the uncle talk about the death of this lady, this death of this family. And I heard the hurt in their voice. I heard the pain. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? Now, these fathers, these are uncles, these are men. Why come we don't consider them? Who considers them? And so I think about that. They go through the same thing as a female go through. They go through shock when something happens like that. Yes, the hurt was heavy. Yes, Laverne. The hurt was heavy. They go through that. They go through shock. They go through denial. All the things we go through. They go through, they replay it just like women do. What if this had happened? What if I had been here? What if I had said that? What if I had saw this? What if I had remember? They go through all of that. They go through that. They go through confusion and guilt. Just like it is not gender based. That's what I'm trying to say. Trauma and hurt of somebody who has been taken away from us. The trauma is not gender based. Because you're a man don't mean you don't suffer through trauma. Marguerite, she said, do we have resources for men or programs to assist? That is something I want to look into, because this is something that really was just kind of bothering me ever since that rally. And then I'm thinking about us, okay, somehow I don't know what it was. I said, oh, Father's Day coming up, and I just really thought about how we kind of dismiss it. It's not a big to-who like we do Mother's Day and all that stuff. We know we do stuff for them, but it's never on. And I know, we know the issues with society as far as men and mamas and dads. We already know that. But what I'm saying, for the ones that are standing on the post, the ones that are there, the ones that have the relationships with the daughters, the ones who has the relationship with the family, the ones who want to be daddy, the ones who want to be around. What about them when they deal with the death of a child? Because they are men does not mean that they do not deal with the trauma. And then so they got to walk around like everything all right. Are you all right? You good? You good? They got to make sure everybody else good. But then they falling apart on the inside. And then we wonder why they tripping. Because they don't have an out. Society did not make it where they feel like they have an out. And, as part of that, we are part of that too. We are part of society too. Because we was thinking that way. I was thinking that way until this rally. The rally opened my eyes in so many ways that I didn't think. I'm thinking one way and then I'm seeing something different. They got to try to figure out, how can I cope with moving on? How can I cope with that person, that daughter? They could have been what is it? Daddy's child. And he watched that child, raise up. Guess what? Birthdays coming around, Father's Day, Christmas, all these holidays. That these people or that person is not going to be there. How do he feel? Do he still just go out there and fix the turkey, cut the turkey? Do he still go out there and barbecue for 4th of July? Do he still go out there and do, put the Christmas lights up and the tree and stuff and just act like everything is okay while we grieve? While we still talk about, oh, I wish so-and-so was here, while we have our moments? Do they get a chance to have a moment? Some people give me some discussions, y'all. Put some in the comments. I know I ain't the only one feeling this. Because somewhere we got to help our men, the men in our family, not just our husbands. We can't say it's just me and man. The sons, we got our sons, we got our husbands, we got our brothers. We got to help them because they grieve as well. Again, what I said, trauma is not gender-based. They grieve as well. They got to remember to be positive. When everybody else around them falling out and having, issues and whatever, setbacks and triggers, they got to keep their triggers in check. They got to keep their trigger in check. That nursery rhyme that they always sang to their daughter when she was a baby, and that come on, or they hear that. They got to keep themselves in check. They can't like express their grief when they hear that song. You don't think that affects them when they hear that song? Or when they see another man walking with his daughter, holding her hand, or on the playground, and it takes them back to reminisce about when they had this relationship with their daughter who's no longer with them. They supposed to hold that in check? Is that what we have done to our men? Our boys, our men, our brothers, our fathers? Is that what we have done to them? We allow society to let them know, you don't get a chance to grieve. You don't get a chance to deal with the trauma. You don't get a chance to deal with the trauma because you're a man, and men have to stay strong. Who said that? Who said because they cry or they have these issues or they want to release that they're not strong? Why do we say that? Erica said, this discussion makes me think of my cousin who lost his mother and suffered with depression until he passed. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think about that, Miss Bishop, Erica. I think about that. Because somewhere we have to give them space. We have to give them space. Laverne says, one thing we as women must stop saying to our men is, you don't understand. Open up and go through the loss to get that. That is so true. So true. They talked about even with the death of a child, sometimes it affects marriages. Because one person feel like, I'm grieving, but you can't help me. And the other person, the same thing. I'm grieving, but you can't help me. And both, everybody is grieving. And sometimes it comes to a demise because I'm so hurt, but you don't see my hurt. When actually you see each other's hurt because you both in this together. You both had this child. You both raised this child. You both had a relationship with this child. And so we as a society, we have to do something that's going to help our men, not just our men, our husbands, our boys, our sons, our men, our families, because we hurt, they hurt. We're in shock, they're in shock. We're in denial, they're in denial. We feel powerless. Guess what? They feel powerless just as well because they cannot bring that child back. They cannot bring that child back. They feel hopeless and powerless just like us. They feel anger that it happened. They feel loss of hope. Guess what? She didn't make the graduation. She didn't get a chance to see her wedding. She didn't, all these big accolades, all these big milestones that we celebrate. When that person is not here, just like we feel it, the man feels it too. But society does not give them the space to grieve. And so I just wanted to, I know this is a 30-minute program, but I wanted to just bring this because it just really hit home with me when I witnessed that. I saw that. And then I'm thinking about, the deaths in my family, before my father passed, he buried some kids. Well, how did he feel? I didn't even think about that. We had mama. We consoling each other. I don't remember nobody consoling my dad. My dad was a strong man with his little 5 feet 6 inches self. He was short, but my daddy was a strong man. But who says he was strong during that time? During that moment? During that season? Seasons comes and seasons go. But do we allow the men to grieve? Do we allow that? And so I wanted to just bring this to this platform today. Erica, I hope you and my cousin, I call him my cousin because I think I saw Lyles. I think I talked to him about it. Have a platform because I hope it's just more than one platform, me talking about it. I think it needs to go on to other platforms because somewhere we need to help the men in our families, the men in our circles, the men in our church. They hurt as well. They need somebody to talk to as well. They need a space to be themselves. Yeah, we talking about we strong black women, we strong black men, we strong women, we strong men, period. But everybody has a moment. Everybody has a season of vulnerability. Will we allow them to be vulnerable in their season? Will we allow that? Because they have to be able to get whatever is on the inside of them out of them so they can heal just like we have to heal. So they can move forward just like we got to move forward. Because they are men does not make them null and void. It doesn't say, oh, because you're a man, you don't need to go through this. You don't need to deal with this trauma. If a woman lost a child through domestic violence, a man lost a child because the woman did not have a child by herself. And as again, I said, everybody may not have been in the mother and father in the same household, But there are some men who out there that were in the household, some men who had relationships with their children, and some men who were surrogates to other people's children, who were father figures. And when somebody has been taken from you in that manner of domestic violence, they hurt just as much as we do as a female. And so I want to acknowledge the fathers out there, all of the fathers, the grandfathers, the uncles, the fathers in the gap, stepfathers, whatever your relationship to someone. I want to honor you and acknowledge you for this coming Father's Day and going forward, because I want to make sure that we give you space to grieve when someone has been taken from you due to domestic violence. It is not just the woman who grieves, but I want us to keep in mind that it is the fathers as well. So I want you all to be blessed. I love this platform. Erica, take it away to the next platform. This is something I am going to talk on the radio station at 7 o'clock to go further this, because I wanted to get it out there, because I want to acknowledge the men that trauma is not gender-based. And with that said, I bid you good night.